And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Marni Nixon.
My name is Marni Nixon.
My name is Marni Nixon.
My name is Marni... No. Panel, follow along, if you will. I, Marni Nixon, sing for motion pictures. While millions of movie fans have heard my voice in films, few have ever seen my face. I am what is known in Hollywood as a dubber or a ghost. I do the actual singing while the star mouths the words before the cameras. I have ghosted for Margaret O'Brien, Jean Crane, and Janet Leigh, among others. I have been the singing voice of the star in several major movie musicals. I sang for Deborah Carr in The King and I, and for Natalie Wood in West Side Story. Time magazine recently referred to me as the ghostess with the mostest. Sign, Marni Nixon. Panel, these three ladies all claim to be Marni Nixon, ghostess with the mostest. We'll start the cross-examination with Orson Bean. Orson?
Yes, Miss Nixon, number one. Do the among others referred to, also could they refer to Miss Audrey Hepburn?
My contract doesn't allow me to discuss it.
Oh, it doesn't allow you to discuss it. Have you heard, my dear, that this lady was the voice of Audrey Hepburn?
Yes, I heard it.
Did you hear that, too? All right.
Maybe number two's contract doesn't.
He's allowed to take the fifth here as one is anywhere else.
All right. Number three, do you sing differently when you are Natalie Wood as, for instance, when you are Deborah Carr?
Yes.
Number two, in what way do you sing differently? Do you really try to get a feel of the different lady?
Yes.
Really? And do you...
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I would like to say that whichever one it is, you sang magnificently in My Fair Lady in the movie, and it was perfectly beautiful. Number three, were you ever in My Fair Lady in New York?
Yes.
Number two, can you tell me who Biff Liff was?
He was the director.
Number one, when you were in My Fair Lady, where were you playing?
City Center.
I regret to say I didn't see it, and I'm terribly sorry. I'm sure it was very good. Number two, who played opposite you at the City Center?
Miles Eason.
Number three, when you were playing, you didn't play at the Hellinger.
No.
How long did you play in City Center?
6 weeks.
Number two...
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number three, does your contract permit you to talk about the dubbing you did for Audrey Hepburn?
No.
Oh, all right. I just wondered if number two, the same for you?
Yes.
Thank you. Number two, what are you doing now?
Right now, I'm concertizing.
Number one, what are you doing now? What are you planning to go into?
What am I planning to go into? I just did the Sound of Music. I just finished the movie where I'm seen for the first time.
Number three, aren't you going to work in New York?
Yes.
Where?
I'm doing a concert.
Oh, I see. Oh, thank you.
Peggy Cass.
Number one, if you're singing in The Sound of Music, surely you're not singing for Julie Andrews.
Oh, no. I'm appearing as Sister Sophie in
Oh,
the
I
Sound of
see.
Music.
Oof, that made me very nervous. Number three, did they use like some of your low notes and some of A. Hepburn's high notes to blend them all together? Or say you were singing for somebody who had a lot of low notes and you had these high notes. Did they amalgamate them, use some of her notes and some of your notes?
No, my contract doesn't allow me to discuss.
No, but I will just make up. Well, number two, say you're singing for Janet Leigh. Would they use a couple? I was beginning to sound like you, Orson. Do they use a few of her notes, like to make it sound more kosher?
Sometimes, yes.
I see. Thank you.
That's all we have time for. It's time for you now to mark your ballots. Mark them if you will. Once again, marking for the one you think is the real one, without any consultation between you, please, while voting, and no changing once you have voted. Vote for number one, number two, or number three. All ballots are now marked. Almost. There they are. Now they are. Okay, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number two, and I'd like to tell you why, but frankly, my contract doesn't.
Peggy Cass, what is your...
I voted for number two because whenever we mentioned who did the singing, she just like giggled and laughed, so I know she really must have done it.
Orson.
Yeah, I voted for number 1, and I have a contract with Tom that says I always give the same reason as him.
Kitty, which one is your choice?
Well, I feel terrible not having seen Miss Nixon at City Center, but I voted for number 1 because of something about the quality of her speaking voice, which reminded me of her very beautiful singing voice.
Very well, that divides it up evenly, doesn't it? It gives us 2 for number 2, 2 for number 1. Let's find out immediately which one of these 3 ladies is, in truth, the ghostess with the mostest. Will the real Marni Nixon please stand up?
And sing it to...
Thank you very much, Marni. It's a real treat to have you with us tonight. You may be seated if you like. Marni Nixon has, of course, as you know, a truly glorious voice with a magnificent range. And in addition to her dubbing work in the movies, she has sung at Lincoln Center with the new Philharmonic, New York Philharmonic.
She's a record.
Indeed. And I'm glad to report also, as you heard her say, that one of them say, that she has a part of her own on camera in the upcoming film version of The Sound of Music. And incidentally, I have read in all the newspapers that you were the voice of... No, we better not go into that. All right, let's find out about your 2 imposters here now. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you do?
I'm Rosemary Moody, and I'm volunteer social worker. And I must add that I've been hiding from you all day because we were both at Norbert's.
Both of my hairdressers.
You're afraid you might have seen her. Number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Joanne Talley. I work at Brooks Brothers in New York selling men's pajamas and underwear.
Wow. I'm glad you said that the way you did. Didn't say I am in men's pajamas and underwear. Ah. Well, in checking the score, ladies, you did fine. There were 2 incorrect votes, and that's twice $250 for a total of $500 to be divided. And we thank you very much for being with us. On your way out, of course, you will receive a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Easy On. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Thank you again for gracing our show. Good night, and God bless you.